Darkness consumes the weak and frail, lonely adventurers follow the trail. Frigid snows freeze the bones as a dark creature groans and moans. Whispers protrude through your skull, giving you a hunger that you can't ignore. Your bones may begin to twist and turn, your aching soul will begin to burn, while you may scream out for help. The pain you feel is unparalleled. In time, all will be lost. There is no salvation but the frost. The story of the Boneskinner is a harrowing tale, and to some, may be a tale not for the faint of heart. But in the frigid north, through the eerie forests of the Bjora Marches, we can find this powerful and deadly enemy. While there is strength in numbers, a coordinated group of adventurers can eventually take down this incredible looking enemy through an open world event as well as an instant strike mission, where the skills and abilities that a Boneskinner uses against any attackers are incredible, and the design of this boss is all around fantastic. But if you take some time to learn more about what exactly this creature is, a darker truth will be revealed. Let's explore the story of the Boneskinner through two first-hand experiences. One begins in the Bjora Marches, a dark whisper that leads to a deep hunger. Adventurers who travel through this area alone should consider to do otherwise. Deep in the aberrant forest, a lone Kodan can be found hunkered in a ruined hut, a Kodan plagued by an eternal hunger. Once an envoy from the Kodan settlement of Still Waters speaking, this Kodan came into the woods with two others, all of whom began to hear whispers, which drove them towards unnatural actions in order to satiate themselves. One of these Kodan was killed elsewhere in the woods, while another Kodan ran away, saying that he felt a call before turning into something different. Adventurers who wish to help out this remaining Kodan by the name of Bright Shore can go around and collect different items: a blood orange, some rabbit meat, some deer meat, a bear flank, a warg meat chunk, and eventually a Boneskinner flank. As you collect each item and talk to Bright Shore, you can learn about this Kodan's struggle against the hunger, as you constantly try to help him through the hunger. Where upon bringing Bright Shore a Boneskinner flank, you save him as he says the ache is gone, he can't hear the whispers, and just needs to rest for a little while. A happy ending for this character, but as you collect the Boneskinner flank, you can also stumble upon a book titled What's Happening, which reads as follows. The whispers draw me deeper in, warm, gentle, like a mother comforting her cub, an old friend welcoming me home. Is this my home now? They remind me I'm still alive, still hungry, always so hungry. I'm disgusting. I ended a life today, a vigil patrol, Norn. I don't know why I did it, but it felt wonderful. The whispering friend told me I was doing so well, and the light drained from his eyes. My stomach growled. My body acted without thinking, and before I knew it, he was gone. I'm vile. What am I becoming? Is it a trick of the light on the snow, or do my claws grow longer? Why does the hunger gnaw away even now, after I did this horrible thing? What's wrong with me? Koda, help me. Our second first-hand experience can be found years later as you meet the Norn Frode, a member of the Astral Ward working to combat the demonic threat of the Cryptus and defend Tyria from a variety of other threats. An important note about many members of the Astral Ward is that they are individuals who can be found from a variety of areas in the world and come from a variety of times in Tyrian history, depending on when they joined the Astral Ward. As you explore the demonic realm of Inner Niles, you can begin learning more about this heroic Norn through various journal scraps that, together, allow you to learn a lot. Ragna teases me whenever we drink. You do it so carefully, Wormsbearer. She'd down a keg just to make a point if she weren't carrying. A daughter, she thinks. Air sent a number of herbal mixtures that aided her ahead of young Bram's birth, but nah, Mrs. Ale. Sam and I are getting ready to travel far north to Saudi Stead once spring arrives. The storm is too brutal to cross now, and, more importantly, I'd rather not encounter those beasts with cold feet. They've grown apart from us, our people. Newt is worried what they'll do in isolation. For now, we fortify. Come winter, we'll have one more belly to keep full. A smaller one, but game is less bountiful on this side of the Shiver Peaks nonetheless. We all miss Holbrack. On the third resting day of winter, our daughter has been born, Arina. Ragna immediately named her Arina Copperwolf, just like her mother. I'd rather she listened to wolf instead of worm anyway. My teachings are harsher and angrier. I like to protect Arina from that, if I can. Na's weak and likely bound to bed and blanket until she heals. The elders are watching her and Arina while we repair the outer walls of the settlement. Although winter is fresh, it knocks our door with a sturdy fist. Newt writes with dire news of the north, and our latest arrivals only spell misery for what may be afoot at Southstead. Fear lingers in their eyes, but none wish to speak of what's happened. They barely speak at all. Children without parents, wolves scared and shaking. Ragna is too burdened with a great, unknowable sadness to rise and speak with them, and I fear that as a former priestess of wolf, she's the only one capable. For now, they linger at our fires and eat our food. Newt will send rations when he's able, but we're all uncomfortable. My wife is miserable. Same tells me that Worm calls us north. I have not heard this call. I haven't heard Worm since the snow was deep enough to cover my boots. As soon as the refugees have settled, I expect we'll be traveling before spring after all. I fear what we may find. Sam and I left a week ago. The warmth of our homestead is starting to fade from memory. The landscape is cold and harsh. Howls from beasts I've never heard before echo through the trees. This is a very different winter. We've stayed out of sight, following the path that the refugees took southward. Bodies line the road. Bloody remnants are just about everywhere, beast and Norn alike. I don't know how many lost on their way, but that number is likely significant. We've a few weeks until we arrive at Southstead. One of the survivors said that someone must have stayed behind. You may be greeted by many or none, but this entire ordeal paints a very grim image. I worry that we're too late. I worry that I may never see Arina or Na again. I got one final look at them before leaving. Na tucked under a pile of blankets and fur, a queen hidden beneath a pile of snow. Arina was propped up on top, playing with a hand-woven doll from Geerta, both of them lit only by the fire of our stove. I wish I could paint them like that. Half of the page is stained with blood, but you parse what you can of it. I haven't spoken a word out loud in 15 days. The warmth of our hearth is a week out of reach, if that. Home soon. Same, my friend. When we arrived at Southstead, no one was left. No one was there at all. Empty. Nothingness. Echoes and dust. We traveled weeks at that point with no signs of life. Our own rations dwindling. Same suggested we hunt, so we traveled eastward to the lake in search of anything. Miasma clung to the too thick to breathe. No sign of life, nothing to eat. Before we turned back, Same heard something. He said it was Worm, calling us towards the... Same ran faster then. I tried to follow. Frozen in place, he started to transform, shredded, blood. The screaming, he begged Worm, but I don't think that was... The transformation paused, leaving him half, limbs breaking off. Not from the cold. I stumbled towards the shore when the ice... It cracked wide open. Maybe he was spared by the frozen waters. The bubbles stopped. I'm most of the way home now. I don't know how to feel. I feel everything, but I wish to feel none of it. It's been 5 years, and the icy sting of that lake never left my cheeks. I haven't written. I've barely spoken. Arina is training with the elders. I avoid her otherwise. She reminds me of Ragna, and I don't want her to think her father as a hollow replacement. She's young. She'll find others to look to. Others with strong minds. I think I may leave this place. I think they'd understand if they knew. I just hope Arina's young enough to forget, and it turns my gut to twisting knots and bile that I can't be the father she needs. But all I see, whether my eyes are open or not, is his face. Same, my friend, his blood rolling across the ice. Worm abandoned us. I don't know if I belong here anymore. Where through the accounts of the Kodan Bright Shore and the Norn Frode, we can learn what exactly Boneskinners are. As adventurers, particularly Norn and Kodan, travel through the far shiver peaks, they can suddenly begin to feel uneasy as the whispers begin to torment them with the thoughts of hunger, the whispers of the elder dragon, Jormag, twisting, turning, and corrupting everything it can towards its side, and a hunger for anything and everything, an insatiable hunger that is nearly impossible to stop, that drives the individual towards madness, turning the individual into a rabid, monstrous shell of what they once were, seeking the raw meat of animals and eventually the raw flesh of those whom they once called friends and family, anything to satiate the hunger. But for many, there is no stop to this hunger, no way to cast it aside. As the whispers grow stronger, the only truth that forms is the concept to consume. But as an individual plagued by these whispers dive further into madness, their body begins to contort. As screams echo through the forests, a sign of agonizing pain, blood begins to spew everywhere as their entire body begins to rip itself apart. Limbs break and snap and twist into an unhuman form. Claws begin to protrude from what was once the hands and feet as the flesh and skin begins to decay from the bone. Bones begin to protrude out of the body and become more dominant as the once individual begins to hunch over and finds their footing on four limbs. An individual who once had friends, family, a home, a life, twisted and turned by corrupting and manipulative whispers to consume anything and everything it can, to eventually experience an agonizing and unearthly transformation into a savage creature with no thoughts but to serve Jormag. And that's the video. I hope you enjoyed. This is a really different type of story video compared to ones I have made in the past, and I would love to hear your thoughts about it down in the comments, as I've been wanting to experiment with and learn from a few different things. Guild Wars 2's lore and story is pretty deep, but I personally find this to be the darkest story in the game. I hope you all are taking good care of yourselves. Have a good one, everyone.